Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about bad things in our lives. When we have those moments where things just feel very hard and very bad. And I know you've had these moments. I'm living through a few of these at this very second. And I thought it was important to share the mindset and kind of how we can practically work through these so that you can really be your best self. So stay connected, stay involved, see if this resonates with you and what you're currently going through. And if there is other ideas on how you have succeeded in viewing these, in reacting to these, in dealing through these, and making yourself successful through them, just let me know. Put them in the comments. Would love to share and crowdsource ideas here. We're here today. I really appreciate you joining me on finding our best self, right? How do you make your best self? And sometimes it's not just thinking about your goals and putting in the daily work. Life happens, right? Life brings these challenges to us. And in order for us to thrive, we have to overcome them. I like to think of a phrase of like, we want to survive and thrive, but when it's bad, and then we want to, kind of grow and succeed. And the reason I wanted to share the stories to you is, my wife sent me a message saying, I hope your day, I'm sorry everything is so hard right now. I hope your day goes well. And it's true. We have lots of hard things in our lives. And as I started thinking about these, hard is often referred to as a bad thing, right? Oh, I had a hard day's work, a hard day at work. I had a hard day at school. I had a hard day, I had hard training. And I like to pause for a second because hard is not always bad. Actually, hard is the the proof that we have done meaningful work. Meaning that if you have a training session that's easy and you know you didn't strain your muscles, you didn't challenge your heart rate, your respiratory, your breathing was super easy, you're not going to improve physically from that training, right? If you're going long, slow, distant runs, right, at the end of that run, you're gonna feel spent, even if the run felt easy. Um, Maybe because you've built up the distance, you've built up the respiratory to handle it, but you're pushing yourself. You're doing a deeper run. And when I was coaching athletes, I coached like 1,000 athletes over a period of time, and was working with Olympic athletes and professional athletes. And one thing that really came to bear was the workout's always hard, right? I can do a workout with 10 other people, and every single person will say the workout was hard. And somebody might be using 10-pound dumbbells, another person might be using 150 pounds in a bar, somebody else might be using sandbags. And it's the same workout, same rep scheme, same movement patterns. We're getting it done based on the same amount of time. But the reason everyone had a different weight and a different maybe adjustment for the movement was to ensure that it was hard for that individual, but it produced the results. It produced the output, the goal. And that meant when we were looking at it, the workout, yes, was hard, right? If we're doing a workout and you're wearing a weight vest and I'm not, and we both do 100 push-ups for a time, I promise you at the end, it will feel hard for both of us equally. But it's a good hard because it's a challenge to our system. It allows adaptation, growth, new muscle, new strength, and new capacity to do more work from that point forward. Other good things that jump out to me is a woman giving birth to a child. That is hard. Giving birth to a human is hard, but it is definitely good, right? It's a beautiful magical thing. They literally have produced a living being. Launching your business, your passion, putting in the the trillion hours it feels like it takes to see it grow is hard. But doing what you love, and whether it succeeds or not, is good, right? So there's lots of examples where hard is good, where we get better because of it, where we learn things because of it, where we find financial freedom because of it, right? If you have a hard day at work because you've been having deep, insightful meetings, you have been leading your team, creating, writing new code, shipping new packages, all the things, that's great. And if you're working somewhere, you're working at a coffee shop, maybe you're working, at a store, and it's not busy, you would say we had kind of an easy day. There wasn't any customers. Well, if you have too many of those easy days, you're going to close the coffee shop or the store because there's no sales, right? So a day with busy activity and engaging customers and shipping products, that can be hard, but it is so good because it's towards the goal. Being it's not just productive, it's incrementally improving your community, yourself, your world. So everything that we want to achieve from this lens is hard. And the increments of difficulty increase. As you get more fit, you need to do harder workouts, heavier weights, longer distances. That's right. And as you grow your business, your volunteering organization, whatever you're doing, those also get more complex and become harder to execute. You have to scale it. You deal with different problems. When we were babies and we had to figure out how to walk, that was hard for us. But now we look back and like, man, that was easy. Like the stuff that I'm dealing with now, ooh, right? I want that. I want those problems. I want the problems from when I was in middle school and high school. And everybody says that. You look back, you're like, I want those problems. But do you want everything that came with it? All the challenges that were there without the learnings that you have now, without the perspective. The only reason those situations are easy now when we look back is because we have the capacity, the strength, the mental understanding, the knowledge to do it. We didn't know it before. And that's something to really let that sink in. As sentient beings, as human beings, biological individuals, you know, there is no right path. If you look at history, we are constantly experimenting, trying things, having errors back and forth. All of those tests proved and disproved what we thought was right. So, what we think is right today, or the things we do today, or the tools we use today, were all created by somebody who lived before you. And that doesn't make it wrong or diminish it. It actually means that we should be building upon it. We should continue to challenge and innovate and grow. What this just popped on my mind. If we think about rockets, right? We, as a species, have been firing rockets into space, landing in places, amazing, awesome technology, very cool. Never until Elon Musk did anybody land a rocket. And now everybody's landing rockets. And the mental flip there is, if you watched science fiction, the rockets always landed. Like, we have been launching rockets and just letting them float in space or letting them crash to Earth or whatever. But in sci-fi, when you had no limits and you could dream, those writers, those authors, those movie creators, they had the rockets land vertically. And it took somebody who was not in the rocket industry to innovate with SpaceX and land rockets. And did it in a very short window of time, considering how long we've been flying into space. And there's millions of examples where we thought this was the right way. Science said this is the thing. and then we realize it wasn't. And that will be constant. And as humans, we need to be curious. We need to be experimenting. We need to be building on it. We don't, never can we forget the past. We have to build off of the past and look at the assumptions and challenge the assumptions. And when we do that, coming back to kind of our best self and individuals, as we are testing assumptions and trying things, we are going to bump into hard things, but we're also going to bump into good things. And I think that's super important. We have to always remember that there is life that is both full of good and bad. And both can be hard. Hard is not a bad thing. Hard allows us to grow, to expand, to challenge and learn new things. Some things that are super bad, right? Like finding out that your spouse was cheating on you, or getting a divorce from somebody who was toxic to you. Those are all very nasty things, and I wish no one to ever have to experience it. But your life is better after that chapter. So it is a hard, good thing. It's just awful in the center of it. But there's plenty of bad things. Plenty of bad things happen in our life. Plenty of bad things emerge where we have to overcome it. And, you get fired. That's a bad thing. You get sued. That's a bad thing. You have guests that are committing fraud. You have customers that are, causing trouble. All of these, yes, are bad. Things break. All of them are bad. Those are all bad examples. And I'm sure you yourself have many of these that you're having to deal with, right? And if you take a pause for a second, you could probably think of like one or two things that are happening right now in your life that are bad. Currently for me, present I bought for Ashley. It was a sauna. Bought it for birthday. It decided to be broken last night. So now I need to become an electrician and figure out why it's not working. Something that we spent many years trying to get for her, because it does help with cardiac reduction of risk. So like we really focus our money on health, and instead of certain things, we focus on things that'll help make us better. But that broke. The air conditioning broke 2 nights ago. So it was 89, 91 degrees or whatnot last night. Okay, that's a bad thing. We're going to get it fixed. Your car breaks down. All these are bad things. And they can be hard. Like, they can be very stressful. But how do we overcome it? How do we get better? How do we thrive and survive in these? And the first is the mindset. I really want us to see the truth. And this takes a minute for me sometimes, right? Because when you get hit with a couple back to back to back, the first is that these are event specific, right? Like, yes, you can have, there's a moment in time or a singular event that is bad, right? That means that my car broke down. All right, well, your car was broke down for this much time in your life. Okay. You're being sued. Again, that much time. Maybe you have a horrible disability or injury. Again, it's only part of you. It's terrible. Absolutely. Absolutely horrible. But it is only a part of you. It is not who you are, right? It is a singular thing. And I think when you look at these hard, bad things, that they are specific to a situation. And then, as such, that hard thing is closed in itself. It is its own situation. And when we're through it, it's gone. It's gone out of our lives. Kind of like a good thing, a good, hard, good workout, right? When you're done with the workout and you walk away like, whew, man, that was good. It was hard, but it was good. I feel better. It's enclosed in a moment of time. In the middle of that workout, if you're really pushing yourself to like a red line of effort, it is unpleasant. And that's all you can think about. So bad events happen in our life. Our life, though, is not bad. Our life is not that bad event. Our life is not that. Bad events are bad. Your life is not bad. And I think it's important to remember that this is not your entire life. This is one thing in your life. And yes, you could be in a job that you hate. You could be doing school and you're like, I got 4 more years of this. This is terrible. Yes, but it's 4 years out of 80, right? You're in one job out of probably a dozen or 2 dozen or 3 dozen jobs you will probably have in your life. So you need to really make sure you embrace the fact that understanding that your life is not this negative event. The other thing to consider, and this is very important, and you control this, is how you react matters. Meaning that you can be hit with lots of negative things. But what do you do when you're hit with these negative things? How do you react? Do you throw things? Are you just screaming at everybody you meet, strangers and loved ones alike? Are you communicating it? Or are you can be upset, you can be pissed. Are you focused on it specifically? Meaning that how are you approaching this to drive the improvement you want? How are you controlling your reaction, right? Like if somebody made you upset, are you just turning off and avoiding them for the next 2 days, 2 years? Or are you not going to add fuel to the fire and going to have the hard conversations that you want? Are you going to manage your emotions so that you can be logical, so you can be practical in solving the problem, and you can reach out for help, right? If you go deep dive into a depression and just want to sit in your room or just hide from a problem, all of those are bad reactions because none of them put you in a mental state, an emotional state to tackle them, to improve your situation. And you need to take the action. You are the one who takes the action. And that's really the next thing to think about is you're the one who needs to fix this. You are responsible and accountable. It is your event. You can say, well, somebody else is at fault. Somebody else caused this. It doesn't matter. You are the one who has to deal with it. You are the one who is harmed. You are the one who is upset. You are the one who maybe have a point of view that needs to be resolved. So, knowing that we are fully in control of, first off, how we react, our emotional state, and being prepared to ask for help and pull in help and be practical. When we have that emotional state, and it might take you 5 minutes to kind of like get over, I can't believe this has happened in my life and now I need to deal with it. But after that 5 minutes, now we need to find time to attack this. We need to resolve it. We need to put our energy towards it. We need to focus our line of sight onto eliminating this problem, reducing the hard and bad to something that is either non-existent or something that is not our obsession. And that is so important because what we're trying to do is we are trying to stop the problem. And a lot of time you hear the phrase of, well, time heals all things. No, it doesn't. Time heals all, wounds that have stopped bleeding, are cleaned, and are patched. Right? Time heals when you have gotten rid of the poison, when you have stopped the bleeding. If you don't, if we're going to stick with the bleeding analogy for a second, if you just let yourself bleed, you will die, right? Like time is actually not helping you. Things are not better with time when they are hard and bad. They become bigger, hard, and bad, and they become more expensive, harder to deal with, requiring more effort, right? Become more complicated. Time does heal all wounds, but we first have to deal with the problem to let us heal. So time is not your ally. Action is your ally. Moving forward is your ally. Moving purposefully, diligently towards solving it. Now, again, and this is important, you are in control, meaning that you control how you react, you control the energy you put to resolve it, and you control really the speed in which you're working to solve the problem. Now again, we can't make other people happy. Sometimes people are upset. We can make it good for us. We can make ourselves feel like we did it. We were a good human. We communicated. We did the right thing. But if the other party of the situation is still upset, they're still upset. They need to control their own reactions. But you have control. You have control of the situation. You have control of how you react, how you respond. Um, you control these states and effort. And I think if you remember that and you focus on that, you can have an impact. You can tackle these hard things. Well, then the natural result is you can realize you are in control, right? Yes, this bad thing happened. I need to fix it. I understand. But better than that, a little bit of peace can come into your heart and your soul when you realize that your self-awareness around what it takes to deal with hard things, good and bad, is fully in your control. And have a little bit of gratitude and a little bit of grace for ourselves as we are embracing these challenges. Because from a big picture point of view, all of them are going to level us up. Whether they're bad or they're good, we as humans will be better off after. Now, we'll have more resilience. You'll have more grit. People that have had super horrible childhoods have more grit, more determination, more ability to persevere. Those that studied heavy had benefits. Those that had to deal with lawyers were better with the lawyers in the future. Those that who worked on their fitness and had hard workouts, well, they're going to be fitter, right? Like there is a positive potential, even if it's just mental resilience. If nothing else, it's mental resilience, it's self-confidence that you overcame that horrible situation, that you are a good person, that you did do the right thing for the right people, even if they took advantage of you, even if they didn't do their side of the deal. You walk away with a clean heart. You walk away where those bad things, you treated them intentionally, completely, and you moved on. And I think that is going to really help us in being our best self, right? If we're trying to achieve our best self through intentional actions, seeing how we approach and deal with the challenges that come into our day, that is going to help you have a better career, have you have a better relationship, frankly, just be a better human to yourself, right? A lot of times we forget that the voice we hear most often is the one that we're speaking to ourselves. And the better you can dial that in, the more we can drive the right focus and at least an appreciation that, wow, that was a hard day. I did a lot and I feel really good about my work. I had a hard training session and I made myself fitter, stronger. My heart is healthier. I'm going to live a lot longer because of my hard workout. I had a hard meeting where we really debated intensely on something that I really wanted to see succeed. And now it's even better because of my effort. Our hard things help us succeed where it matters most. And that is the growth and the path for us when we are presented and when we pursue these hard moments. I hope this helps you. If anything, feel free to to share this, add some comments on how else you approach this. Subscribe, of course, share, send this to anybody you think can get value if they're dealing with hard things. I believe some of these are going to help them. I know they've helped me, and the whole point of sharing this is that we all collectively get better. We build on each other's lessons and learnings, and there's nothing better than that. So have an amazing day. Wish you all absolutely the best.